I nearly put the heating on for this. Not gonna lie, when I came in here, it's -6 outside, but it's not as well. I don't know if you can see. Can you see the air, the warm air coming out? I was gonna put the heating on, but the heating, I was gonna put a fan on. That was the speaker just connecting. But I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's too bad to do. The plan for today is to do some bench. It's the session that I didn't film last week, I think. Let's just put on some music. Let's see what we've got on. Yeah, so put that on. Here is my collection of cereal. Still need to get around to tidying this place up a bit more. I think it was yesterday, I had a swimming lesson, and then after that, I went and I bought some more mats. As you can see down here, I got another four, they're 20mm thick each. So I got four 20mm thick mats. I'm just going to swap the camera around because it's on the front camera. One sec. I got four mats. That's what I was saying. They're 20mm thick each. They're 1 meter square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them underneath the 40mm mats. So there's no possible chance that any deadlifts I do are going to destroy the floor. So there'll be two of the like 10mm thick ones. Well, I think they're about 15mm, but they're real soft. They're the ones that you get in like children's soft play areas. So there's two of them thick, and then after that there'll be two 20mm thick ones, which are 1 meter square each, and then after that there'll be one under each side, 40mm thick. So in total, that's like 10 centimeters worth of rubber mats. I mean, I think it might be a case of that the bar might bounce a fair bit, so I do stuff dead stop anyway, but I don't need to really be like concerned about damaging the floor. So I'll probably set that up tomorrow when I do my squats and deadlifts. I'm like 99% decided on my like routine with work and everything else, and how it'll fit in with training and stuff. So I've ended up changing my days. So my main program is 5 days. Just now as well, I'm just doing some calves and tib raises, just because I've been sat down a lot today. I always find it helps just to get them moving a little bit, even though today is a bench session. What was I saying? Move my days around. So on a Monday, I start off. Basically it's an extra session, doing a few bits of accessories. So primarily it's back and biceps, but like nothing using my lower back, like upper back, like machines and stuff like that. Some curls and whatnot, and some cardio. Tuesday is my first main session, so we've got dumbbell presses and stuff. Actually quite enjoyed that. This week I've gone up significantly in load on everything. I think it's the extra calories, being in a routine, all that stuff. So it's good. I'm also very heavy at the minute, so that's probably a factor too. And then Wednesday is effectively, this rubber is not good in the cold. That might snap actually. I guess if that snaps, that'll be amusing maybe. Wednesday morning, low body at the gym. I will say my knees, I'm feeling them a bit from this week, and I think it's from the leg extension. So when I do the pendulum squats, they feel great. The leg extension just irritates my knees a little bit. I've been trying to figure out a better setup with it, because at the minute, because I'm short, I can't really get a decent range of motion, and the position that I end up starting in, because of the way it's set up, I end up having to use quite a lot of weight to actually get any stimulus. So what I need to do is to change how I'm doing them to make them harder. You know what I just thought of, which I didn't even think about, is I could just do it single leg. There's no reason I have to sit on the stand the way it is. And I've just noticed on the roof as well, I'm hoping it's just condensation. There's a line of water there on the plasterboard on the roof. I'm just going to take a photo of that, just in case, because we've had lots of other issues with this place. So just in case, and then I will turn this back on again. 1 sec. Yeah, so I just wanted to take a picture of it, and then what I'll do is I'll come back in here in a couple of hours and take another picture and see if it's changed. But I don't remember seeing it any other days. And if the roof is leaking and I've got all my stuff in here, I don't think that's particularly good. So it's something that needs sorting out sooner rather than later. Anyway, it's probably not why you're here. It's probably not why you watch any of this, to listen to me just ramble. That's a lie. If you're watching this, you probably don't mind me just rambling on, because otherwise you would have gotten to this point. So today, I've actually still got some DOMs in my pecs from Tuesday's session, and today's Friday. So today I'm going to go, I tell you what, if I do these laid down as well, that's definitely going to snap. That bit there. Should I keep pulling it until it does? No. I don't trust this rubber. I think it's going to explode on me. It just feels like rock hard, and as you start to pull it, it's not retaining its shape very well. Don't know if you'll be able to see this. As you pull it there, you see it's changing shape. So it might be better in the heat when it's a bit warmer. So I won't just chuck it, but I will certainly not use it whilst it's this cold. See if this light works. So top set today, just 130. Nothing insane. Finding everything's fine. So yeah, pec DOMs. So last week I benched on the dumbbell session. I was using 30s and 32s for sets of 5 on the incline, and this week I got up to the 40s for effectively the same difficulty level, and so I'm feeling that today still with the soreness from it. So I don't know how this is going to go, but this is only a micro progression from last week. So exactly the same volume, a single, and then 4x6. You know what, I think I might put this on. A single, and then 4x6. And then, after that, some spoto press. I'll put this on if it actually works. Is it one of the ones where it needs to be in contact with the ground? Don't know. I'm being a complete idiot. It's not turned on at all. Let's move these bits out of the way. It's going to warm up my bar, isn't it? And burn my hands off. So I wasn't going to put this on, but so this is the power to the door. So I don't need power to that whilst I'm in here, do I? And that's the power to the charger, so I'll leave it on. We have heat. Well, we have a heater on. Not sure how warm it's actually going to be. So we'll see. Anyway, 60 kilos. Yeah, that's fine. That heat is actually nice. I can feel it on my hands. I think I must have just knocked the music to go louder there as well. So yeah, that's it for today. Bench, spotter press, front raises, I believe, and then something else. I think I've got behind the neck press, but that's more for just like a bit of mobility work. I said I'm heavy at the minute as well, so not today, but the day before, I think it was, I was 97.1, which is ridiculous. But Rach did point out to me that I was eating really late that day, so I'd just been busy. An excuse, a terrible excuse. Not a reason, it was 100% an excuse that I was busy and so I didn't eat when I should have been, and that's on me. But that meant that I was still up at like 10:30, just trying to finish off my calories for the day. So I ended up eating about 2,000 calories at about 10:30 and drinking quite a bit of water, because this is a good thing when it works, but it's not a good thing when it doesn't work. Is I will drink water when I eat. Sounds stupid. I have 4 meals a day. With each meal, I'll drink about 1 litre of water. But because I'd effectively missed 2 meals, it meant that I drank all that extra water as well. So I woke up the next day heavy, I guess like retaining it all. So that's why I ended up in that position. So 97 kilos. I think that's actually a new high. I don't think I've ever been that heavy before. I'm not lean at all. If I had to guess my body fat, I'd say 25 to 30, probably. It doesn't... I don't look good. I don't look like hypermuscular or anything. But when you have got some muscle, you can hold more body fat and it not look as bad. So it's only when I'm shirtless or if I'm just sat hunched. Let me just do this, because then I might actually get a bit warmer. Right. What was I going to say? My chunkiness. When I did the video, I don't know, a day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever it was, the one where I was sat on the bike, if you saw that, then I looked pretty chunky. I think sat down in that position, biking, not a good look. Nice little belly sat there. But it's one of those things, like, where did I just put that collar? I'm sure I go insane sometimes in here. So yeah, with the extra body fat, it's not the best thing. It's definitely not the best thing for health. It's not the best thing for, like, from an aesthetic perspective. It's probably not the best thing for business either, to be fair, because although my work is predicated on getting people strong, unfortunately, being leaner tends to get more traction. But I know that it will help me with getting strong, which is what I actually want to do, as opposed to doing what will get more interaction from people on the internet who aren't even real anyway. So that's why I'm doing it. And I think, so I use Macro Factor, which I said about before, and it gives you like your average weight trend. Um, so my average weight trend is for this week, my average is 94. For this month, my average is 92.5. But I've had a handful of weights that are higher than that, obviously, and some below, which is what makes it the average. Did you know you'd be getting lessons on maths and statistics? So, the competition in about 5 weeks, I'm entered in under 93, but as you probably know, the plan isn't to peak for then anyway. The plan is to peak for the one afterwards. What I think would be cool is the last one I did, I think I weighed in at 94, and the one before, I think I weighed in at 92. But, well, excuse me, sorry about that. For both of them, I wasn't actually trying to make weight, so I just weighed in at what I weighed in at. It'd be cool to weigh in at a similar weight, these, so it's more consistent. But then also there's part of me that's like, 100 kilos sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Even if it was just for, I definitely won't get to 100 kilos lean, I can tell you that. Right. 130. It's just fine, wasn't it? It's like, it's a warm-up weight. I will say, so I've said about my elbows before, they're starting to get uncomfortable again, and I don't know if it's just because of the heat, the lack of heat, the cold, or the total volume, or both. I suspect it's the heat, or lack of heat. They're not bad, they're just like a 1 or 2 out of 10 when I'm actually using them. It's only on the heavy stuff, so it is load related. So this session last week, I did 127.5 for my top set, and then 112 for sets of 6. This time, I did 130 for my top set, and then I'm going 115.5 for my sets. So it's literally just a 2.5 kilo increase. Sometimes with programming, it doesn't have to be like, I'm putting this on here, saying it out loud so I remember. It doesn't have to be some fancy, complex thing. Literally just a small increase here, a small increase there, over time will gradually improve. So I was thinking about, like, I'm putting this one on there as well, and this on there. I was thinking about my progression over the past year or so, and I've had a few people say about it being quick, and then I've also had thoughts myself of where I'm like, it's not quick enough. So, with the rate of progression, if I actually look at the different lifts, so up until the beginning of this year, my best squat was 245 kilos, which I did in summer 2022. So summer 2022, 245 kilos. And then December 2023, I'm looking for a small plate. I definitely need to sort out my organisation. December 2023, a 272.5 kilos. So what's that increase? A 27.5 kilo increase in my squat in 18 months. That's not actually that insane. Bearing in mind as well that I'm great. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know what I was bearing in mind. Weight gain. Bearing in mind the weight gain as well. So I went from 245 kilo squat at about 85 kilos body weight. I don't need the velocity on now, do I? 245 kilo squat at about 85 kilos to a 272.5 kilo squat at about 95 kilos in 18 months. When you put it like that, that's not actually that crazy. And then, so that's squat, bench press. I got a 145 kilo bench around the same time as that 245 squat. So 145 bench at 85, and then 18 months later, a 160 bench at 95. So 10 kilos of body weight and 15 kilos of bench progress. So it's good progress, but like, it's not completely insane. So 27.5 squat, 15 on bench in 18 months, and 10 kilos of body weight gained. And obviously it wasn't all lean either. And then the deadlift, I haven't actually put anything in my deadlift. So this time about roughly December 2022, I pulled 290 sumo. I haven't pulled any more than that since. And I switched to conventional last summer. And since switching to conventional, I've gone from a 240 to a 250 in 6 months. So actually, progress is just normal. It's reasonable. Especially, I don't know if I get good and bad reactions to this. I'm getting older, as everyone is. So I'm 31 next month. So I'm 30. And I definitely don't recover the same as I did when I was 20. Why would you, you know? Right, all that said, I should actually train. Set one. That was, I think, 112.5 for 6. It's supposed to be 115. What an idiot. I mean, that barely registered as a wax set, did it? So stupid. Too busy. Maybe if I spent more time training and less time talking nonsense, I'd make more progress, because I'd actually do what my program says. So I'm going to go 115 now. So silly. To be fair, 115 for sets of 6, that's actually pretty good for bench, really. For me, anyway. So yeah, a decent improvement. So 27.5 on the squat is obviously the big one. The bench is really good for me because of my shoulder. I've kind of like, so my anatomy is still different. My whole shoulder is different. It's a different joint now. My bicep is different. But although I'm still looking after it, I'm not having to do special stuff for this shoulder compared to this one. I will almost definitely have an arthritic shoulder in the next 10, 20 years, just because that's what happens after these operations that I've had. So that's something to look forward to. But whilst I've got it now, may as well enjoy using it. I still like with the long-term stuff, I haven't decided on the long-term goals. 700 is obviously the next one, but if we look at that rate of progression, I might not even get a PB the next time I compete, you know? Things need to come together nicely to hit that super meet, if you like. So that last one was close to the super meet, but my body wasn't resilient enough for it. So I don't know. We shall see. Because so the thing I struggle with, which I don't think I'd be the only person that does, is the desire to go all or nothing, of like full bulk mode, get massive, get really strong, pure just power. That's one side. And the other side is like just get super lean, just train for fun, like that's it. Don't worry about the lifting heavy. I find it hard to stay in the middle of like still pursuing that goal, but not to the same extreme, and keep it ticking along. And especially when like the closer and closer I get to events and stuff, the more it takes out of me, not just physically but mentally, the rest of the day. So with changing my training structure around, it means that, so it's Friday night now, so I finish work a bit earlier on a Friday. So I come in here, do my bench. It's not actually my heavy bench, this is my lighter bench session. And then that's it for the week. Have a bit of a rest tonight. Need to get something for tea. Don't know what I'm going to have. And then I could do a plan of my nutrition, but then tomorrow is Saturday. So I can come in and do my heavy squats and deadlifts. I moved it forward to Saturday because on Saturday, that's the day that I try my best to take off. So my athletes know Saturdays I don't reply. I reply every other day, but not Saturdays. I sometimes do, but I try not to. It's quite good actually. If I do reply, I'll get messages back like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be here. But that means that on that day, the only thing I have to do is the training session. I can just enjoy it. I can enjoy the heavy squats and like the grind of the longer sessions. The grind. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. But like getting through the longer sessions. I know that like for other people, like 5x5 is like half an hour or whatever, but like for me, that's a lot. And then Sunday is my heavy bench day, but that just doesn't take it out of me the same way. And it's like it's enough training that it makes me like excited about training, which is cool because that's when I do a big portion of my program updates and stuff. So then I'm like excited about it as well. So then it helps with the programs too. Whereas if I was to try and do that heavy squat and deadlift session today, I'd be thinking about it all day, which would distract me from my other work, and then be coming in here. It's about 7 o'clock now. And starting up a session that might take 3 hours, like, it's just late by the time it's done. Anyway. This is probably costing me more than if I just got a gym membership. So between that 5th and 6th rep, I felt like I was starting to fall off to the side. RPE on that, I put 6. I could probably do another 4 or 5 reps with it. Just a couple more sets of that. I don't know if the camera will pick me up. Well, it must pick me up whilst I'm sat here because it picks up the bench. So with the nutrition stuff, how much detail do you want? So So the last 6 weeks or so, I've been trying to figure out how to sort out my food in such a way that I don't end up with a massively bloated and upset stomach. And so I've been doing different things, testing them, see what's working, what doesn't. And it comes back to the same basic stuff. Who would have thought basics but better? The same basic stuff that makes all the difference. There's one big thing which I've not actually had in my diet, apart from when we went out for food one night, and I've not actually had any steak for about 6 weeks now. And the only reason is I don't have a pan to cook it. I don't like doing it in the oven. I would do it on the grill in the past, but we don't have space to have the grill out, and the barbecue is a real awkward place to get to. So I might tonight go and buy a skillet or something and start having steak again. I'm not saying that not having steak has made my stomach not feel great. I think, this is going to sound insane, whenever I have garlic, it makes me feel bloated and uncomfortable. I've been taking garlic extract, and I realise this is insane. I take that on an evening, and I'm wondering if that is bothering my stomach, because my stomach is fine during the day. It's just first thing in the morning when I wake up. So I'm going to stop. I haven't thought about this before, which is why I've still been taking it. It's only now that I'm thinking about it, I'm talking out loud. So I'm going to stop taking the garlic and see if that makes a difference, because garlic extract does have a lot of research behind a lot of benefits, and to me that seemed worth taking for how cheap it is. But if that is what's causing me to have an upset stomach, then just don't take it. So that's that. Super exciting stuff. Today I have had 2,704 calories so far. No, that's included what I've tracked to have later. So if we just remove that, I've had 2,447 calories, 156 protein, 276 carbs, and 78 fat. Nothing out of the ordinary. Something I've been having a lot of recently, which actually makes me feel fairly good, is burgers. I've been getting some beef burgers, just having a couple of them. That's been good. And I just realised I've got some chicken that's cooked, which is what I'd already tracked. So then that will leave me for the day, if I just have the chicken breast, which I obviously wouldn't just have that, I will have had 204 protein, 276 carbs, and 85 fat. So I still have, after that, about another 1,500 calories to get to the 4,200. So that's a lot of food. Part of me is like, I'm not going to do it, and I wouldn't do it because of all the lactose, but there's a Domino's literally just at the other end of our drive. Like, ooh, Domino's is an easy way to get calories. But then I'm like, it's not good enough. If it was like the best food ever, then I might consider it, but Domino's is not good enough to end up feeling rough over. Kind of it goes against the whole, like, trying to look after my stomach thing. Anyway, I shall do another set. This shall be set number 3. So I'm using the Get Strong app, which is getting closer and closer to being ready. It'll be cheap as well. Right. The only thing is, because of that light there, I can't actually see the markings on the bar. Oh. That's fine. It feels like tough, but mostly just on my elbows rather than on the actual weight. I'm starting to get warm now. I'm going to turn that off and put something else on to charge. This is definitely going to get some kind of copyright strike into it. It's just on Discover still. See if this light works now. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Swapped it. I won't swap them. I'll just chuck it on the floor. Don't know where the charger for this one is though. Must be over here. It is. What an exciting time to be alive. Right, so I'm just going to pause this because I keep ending up with the files getting corrupted because they're just too big. So 1 second. Okay, that's saved. I'm torn between sticking at this load and going 2.5 heavier. Right, let me use my brain now. So, if we start just with, you be quiet. We don't need this music on right now. So if we start logically, right, the program is supposed to be 4x6 at 115. But I did one set at 112. So it's heavy enough that it counts as a set. But it's not the right weight. So logically, it'll be a reasonable thing to do to go 2.5 heavier on this to make it the same. But the point of the session is to hit a reasonable volume at relatively low RPE to cause some structural changes, not to go to failure. So I've got a heavy bench in 2 days, which is more important than this. And then we take into account how I feel during the session, which to be honest, I feel fine. There's nothing about how my body feels, how I feel right now, that's making me think I shouldn't go up. But coming into this session, if you remember from 47 minutes ago, that would be a good guess, wouldn't it? I don't think it's been that long. From when I started, I said my pecs were already fairly sore. And given that it was only about a month ago when I pulled this pec, that would make me lean towards just staying with the same weight. And also the fact of after this, I've then got more benching to do. I've got spoto presses to do. So this is all leading me to the conclusion of to stick with the same weight. I can always add more weight next week or whatever. I can always go a little bit heavier on my spoto presses or whatever. But if I go a bit too heavy, I end up pushing myself backwards. I think that's one of the biggest things that's changed over the last couple of years is I'm training whilst looking towards the future, not just training for today. With that said, I do enjoy the sessions in the bodybuilding gym of like, obviously still training with intent, but like just training rather than being as like meticulous. No, that's not right. Cause you're still like trying to have good technique, but like, is it different? There's training and there's training. If it's not like the analytical of training, it's like training with like, I guess with like a bit of emotion in it. But it's on the stuff that's safer and the stuff that's not going to interfere too much with squat, bench, deadlift. I mean, it will obviously interfere to a certain extent, but like, so as close to a competition would drop it, but away from the competition, it's the stuff that's fun. Like now I can feel my lats. They feel sore, like my arms resting on my lats feel uncomfortable. I like that feeling, like the DOMS. It's from what I did yesterday, which wasn't actually that exciting. I started off with the sled, then I did the sled, then I did the chest supported T-bar row, then I did a machine like underhand row. It was coming from about here, this kind of position. I don't even know what company it is. And then I did some pull downs with like a neutral grip from about here, this position. That again was on a machine. That felt good. I did some rear delts on, you know, like a pec deck. But what I did is I turned on a side so I could get a good stretch there. I did rear delts on that. And that was it. I was going to do some curls, but my biceps were still sore. And like, not just like a little bit achy, but like actually still had DOMs. I was like, I'm not going to get anything extra by training them again now. And then on the afternoon, I swam. I had a swimming lesson, basically just front crawl. It was only like 30, 40 minutes, so it wasn't anything crazy. It was more just like working the coordination of a few different technique drills and stuff. It was good though, different. But I'll drop that close to the competition as well. But I would like to be able to, so I can swim well enough that I can swim, but I can't swim well enough to use swimming for exercise. And I would like to have that as an option, because it's obviously very, very low impact. Interestingly, it's one of the forms of cardio that can often end up being negative for weight loss, which doesn't really matter to me. But if someone's trying to lose weight and they use swimming, they're not proficient enough swimmers to actually burn enough calories for it to offset any dietary changes, and it will make you hungrier as well. So you end up eating even more than you would have burned. So yeah. Right. Last set. Sounds like someone's outside. It must be neighbours. Sounds very close to our house though. Very, very close to our house. Part of me wants to open the door and have a look, but a bigger part of me doesn't want to have a conversation with someone else. I'm talking to you guys. Right, I'm just going to check. 1 second. There was nobody there. I'm going insane, and I just opened the garage door. So now all the heat is gone. It must have just been, so the way it is, on that side of the house there's bushes down here. So I'm wondering if they must have just driven down here. I don't know. Right, come on. Last set. Let's put some music back on. It's only 6 reps, isn't it? I think I might have rested too long before that one. 37 minutes of resting. It's still fine though, nothing exciting. Next up, Spoto press, 3 sets. It says 3 sets of 8, but last time I did 3 sets of 6. Either I did it wrong this week, or I've written it down wrong. Either I did it wrong last week, or I've written it wrong this week. So that's fun. It would make more sense for it to be sets of 8 than 6, given the rest of my training and given what the current block is. So I'm gonna go with 6. I just made absolutely no sense today. It would make sense for it to be sets of 8, given the current training block. So I am going to do sets of 8, but I'm going to use the same weight as what I did last week for sets of 6, hopefully. So then there's a nice little progression there. And if you've seen my videos, if you've watched many of them before, If you've not, welcome to the videos. So these are the videos where I just talk absolute nonsense whilst I train for an hour or two. New videos uploaded every time I do them. I tried saying every day, I tried saying every session, but clearly I don't do it. So it's just new videos uploaded every time I do. Anyway, if you have watched any of them beyond one session, maybe you've watched 2 or 3, you'll know that start the accessory work light and progress it through the block instead of blowing your load on week 1 when you've still got more to go. Because especially when training for strength, we're looking for more progress each week, instead of like just as much as you can on week 1 and have nothing left to give the rest of the block and potentially end up going backwards. So that's why we stick with 80. I'm just going to double check because I might have written it wrong anyway, and when I actually start doing them I might find that 80 is too light or too heavy. So spotor press, pause, just off the chest, keeping tension still on your muscular system rather than just resting on your body. It's supposed to be sets of 8 RP7, and I think that last week I just did it wrong. So I was just being lazy. That thing hasn't changed in size, the wet on the plaster. So that's promising. Anywho, set 1. That felt great actually. Felt like just the right intensity. There's a lot of scope to improve that though, but I can feel it as I'm doing it. You know, you can feel like your muscles pulling, they feel like they're pulling apart, but not like violently. It's like they're pulling into position. It feels like that all the way across my chest and shoulders. And for me, because of only having the partial pec, my bench is heavily predicated on the strength of my front delts and triceps. And my pecs are just like, instead of them being a prime, obviously they are involved in the movement, but they don't do a right lot when I bench normally. So they're just in the background, like slowly getting better and better. So, for example, when I benched 140 for dumbbell presses, I was using like 30s. Now I would use the 40s. Now I'm benching 160. So like the base strength of the bench, of the pecs, is still very low, but that is coming up over time as the strength of other stuff overtakes, as the strength of other stuff also goes up. So it should pay off to a bigger bench in the future. But to be honest, like, if I wasn't going to compete in powerlifting, I probably wouldn't bother that much anymore with the bench, because like the next big bench milestone would be 180. Like, I don't know if I will ever get to 180. If I do, with the torn pec and stuff, I would be impressed with me. I'd be proud if I managed to do that, but I can't see it happening. I can't envision it in my mind without a set of criteria happening, and I don't know if I want to do that. So that's something to think about. But anyway, regardless of that, to hit the 700 total, every kilo helps. every extra kilo helps. And for some reason, I've decided to do it without doing sumo. So if I did it doing sumo, I could probably do it already. But I've said that I'll do it without. So I need to make up those kilos somewhere. I have, in my head, I think and feel two different things. I feel like my deadlift's not going to be too much better. I think it will be. Two different things. I'm not as confident in deadlifts just because it's just not that good of a lift for me. But I think, logically, my deadlift should come up significantly just with having more time of training it and the hamstring work and everything else. And the grip as well. Although my grip isn't particularly good, I have held on to 290, so that's way more than my conventional max, so my grip shouldn't be a problem. And I think it's just a case of time. So if I was like looking at the end of the year, obviously 700 would be cool to hit. What I might do is, if I hit 700 at the competition in March, I might keep training to do a competition at the end of the year and also train sumo deadlifts, but not film that part of the sessions, and then go out for my first 2 deadlifts conventional and pull like 270 conventional or something. This is at the end of the year. And for my third, come out for 300 and then go sumo and pull it like that. Or what would be more likely to happen in reality is I start doing that and then my hips would just explode and then I wouldn't be able to squat or deadlift. So I should just stick to the conventional. Anyway, starting to get a bit of a pump in my triceps. Guns N' Roses, I can get behind that. That's good training music. Well, the more upbeat, when I say upbeat, like the faster songs, not the ballady type ones. That was good. Again, I'm like, got a little smidgen of, not sweat, of feeling warm and turning the heater off again. Just one more of these to go. Yeah, and then what should I have for tea? There's a lot of calories to get through. Oh, I should put in that set, shouldn't I? 8 kilos, RP7. I'm going to stick with the same for next set. So for food, I've got chicken cooked. So I've got left about 20 grams of protein and about 360 grams of carbs and as little fat as I can manage within that. So what I'm looking at doing essentially is hit my protein target and then as little fat as possible in the remaining calories. Not because I think that you should have a low fat diet or anything like that, but given the amount of calories that I need, just by virtue of eating real food, you're going to get enough fat anyway. I don't need to get any added fat from other stuff. So by having meats and fishes and fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, there will be fat included in it anyway. So I'm still getting like 100 grams of fat a day, which is more than enough. But if I was just like, so the Domino's thing I said about, if I was just like, right, 1,500 calories, off we go get a pizza, that's half of like a pepperoni pizza or something. But that's unnecessary extra fat. that's not really serving me any positive purpose apart from it would taste good. Like, that's literally it. It would taste good. You can get other pizzas that taste good, but it would have massive downsides of the lactose would not be good, and it's not like it's contributing anything extra. So, like, something I try and get across to my athletes is insulin is anabolic. Insulin is a hormone that promotes the building of tissue. That doesn't just apply to fat, also applies to muscle. So insulin is one of the most anabolic things in your body, which is why bodybuilders and strongmen and powerlifters spend their money taking extra insulin to help them with getting bigger and stronger and everything else. Your body produces insulin, so that is free insulin. So when you have carbohydrates, you will intake carbohydrates, you'll produce more insulin. Those carbohydrates and other nutrients will be shuttled into various places in your body so that then they can be used. You run the risk of becoming diabetic if you effectively abuse this mechanism, and this is a caveat, and you're not utilizing that fuel. So if you're sedentary, if you're not active, you're not actually getting through that fuel, you run a higher risk of becoming diabetic. If you are an athlete, that's not to say you're immune from becoming diabetic, and bear in mind there's more than one type of diabetes. I'm talking specifically about type 2 diabetes. Some of the most protective things you can do are to be muscular, like carry a decent amount of lean body mass, and I don't mean like giant bodybuilder sized, I mean just normal person size but muscular, and to be very active, so that activity helps too. So when dealing with athletes, you already tick the second box of being active, and the first box of being relatively lean, muscular, that should be ticked really as well. So like I said about me, maybe 20-25% body fat. You can go back through my videos, you can see. But compared to the general population, that's still much leaner and more muscular. With all that said, insulin is your friend when you're trying to gain weight, whether that's fat or muscle. Obviously, muscle is preferable in our circumstance. So, don't be afraid of having more carbs, providing you're going to use the energy. Anyway, I can't remember why I started on that. Oh, it's what I was going to have for tea. Because that's the other thing as well. I don't really just want to have like bags and bags of sweets and sugar. It'd be different if I was having them and then training. But I don't want to have them and then just go to bed and have them just be sat there. Don't think that's particularly going to be great on my stomach. What I'm kind of leaning towards is maybe do some rice with the chicken with a small amount of vegetables, just a small amount because the amount of food, and then maybe some honey or something as well. I might stir fry the chicken up in some honey or syrup, probably honey, some vegetables, maybe some rice, have a bit of fruit, and maybe have, I don't really care that much. That's the other thing as well, I'm not that hungry. I don't care that much about the sweet foods and stuff. I just want to eat foods that are useful to my body. I should have eaten more earlier on in the day. I know this. I need to get better at that. Right. Last one. Just being a potato, I sat around again. What time did I come out of here? It's getting on now. I think they weren't as sharp as the last couple of sets were, to be honest with you. I think I kind of, I was going to say I lost my concentration, but that's not true. I just wasn't really concentrating on that set. Next up, front raises. I don't need to use a crazy amount of weight on these, because again, they're a relatively new movement coming into this block. So I've done them in the past, obviously, but it's long enough since I've done them that they've lost a fair bit of novelty. So it means I can get a lot out of a little at first, which is generally better, in my opinion. Less stress on the joints, all that good stuff. And since I'm getting old now, that's something I have to think about. I get some 50-year-old commenting on this, saying how I'm not old and not realising that it's like half tongue-in-cheek. Tell you what though, some of the comments recently have been very positive, so thank you to the people that do that. That's very nice. And also, if you've watched this far through and you want me to do any different kind of stuff, like different kinds of videos and stuff, let me know. So last week I did 3 sets of 8 with the bar, so this week I'm going to do 4 sets of 8 with the bar. Super inventive, I know, but you'll see, because I realise, like, if you were a bodybuilder or proper hypertrophy training, this would still seem like really low volume, but it's hypertrophy within the realm of strength. But if you... I didn't film last week, damn it. So last week to this week, the main difference is on the bench, increase the load. On the first bench accessory, increase the reps. On the next accessory, increasing the volume. So the volume is more of a driver in everything except the primary movement where it's load, because for strength, the load is still the most important thing. With that said, I shall do the first set. Oh. Set 1 done. And I think that means either that's dead or whatever the playlist was is finished. So again, it's only like RPE, light RPE. So just need to get these done. And then there's the behind the neck strict press. And then after that, that's it. I could go in. Oh yeah, I know what I was saying. So if you want to see anything different, so what I'm thinking, I don't know how much I should say. So there's a big web of stuff that's going on. I'm building, and the ultimate end goal is to help as many people as possible to get as strong as possible. And I want to create effectively army, not an army, a big community of people that just want to be strong, because being strong is cool. And there are multiple different avenues to do this, and I want to help people to understand strength training that aren't necessarily wanting to go full-blown like bodybuilder or anything like that, where strength is the main focus. So I want to help put out everything that I know into a more succinct format, but also I don't want it to be about me, because it's not. It's about helping other people. So there's a few different ways I'm doing it, or that's in the works. But for example, the education stuff, I was toying with the idea of putting it up just on YouTube. But the problem is, if you miss out on other pieces, it won't make as much sense. So I'm probably going to have some of the stuff as standalone topics that can just go on YouTube, and the rest of it effectively put it inside of like my members area. But I'm going to have a free version as well. So it'll be very much like you can still access the stuff if you want to. If you then want help implementing it in your situation, then obviously you can sign up for coaching. I'll just help you out. But the other thing as well is I don't know everything, obviously. It's more interesting for me if there's people to challenge the things I say and ask why this, why that, have you thought about this, what about that? So that way everything gets elevated. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to have a place for that to go on, but for it to not just go rogue. So currently what I'm thinking is, I've talked about this element before, but like the free Telegram group, I think I'll just limit the intake of people so that like maybe I'll only let 10 people in a month or something, so I can keep it so it's a productive place, because there's a lot of admin and stuff that goes on into managing that kind of thing. And with doing the free stuff, although it's cool, it helps people, I still have to work, and obviously still need to earn money and support us. So it's just figuring out the best way to do that. But with all that said, if you made it this far through the video and you comment below what you would like to see or send me a message, then I will take your opinion more seriously, because you've made it all the way through to this point. So you're obviously invested enough that you care about this kind of stuff. So then I can do stuff that helps at least you, rather than people that will just watch for 10 seconds and leave, which is still welcome here, of course. But I'd like to help you more, basically. My plan is to start doing the technique reviews and stuff for the free group next month. But I don't know what date this will be out, so it might be this month. There'll be a link somewhere, I'm sure. Right. I don't know if it's just because I rested longer or what, but that felt a lot easier than the first set. So I think I'm going to go up in load and actually start the rest timer as well, so I know how long I'm resting. There was something else I was going to say, which I've already forgotten. Oh yeah, the extra stuff. So even if it's not education type stuff, so like I've been asked before about doing like days of food and stuff, I'm happy to do that as well, if that's something you're interested in. I just need to know. I tell you what, my knee is actually quite sore. This knee, I banged it the other day. So, you know, there's 8 elements really to, there's actually 8 elements to making as much progress as you can, but there's only really 6 of them that you can control for most people. So training, nutrition, sleep, recovery, mindset, and health are the basic 6. And then on top of that, you've got resources, which is another one, which I suppose you can control to a certain extent, but that kind of underpins a lot of the others. So if you have unlimited resources, your nutrition can be better, your sleep can be better, your health potentially can be better. Like resources underpins it all. And then that's another thing as well. So I'm trying to use my athletes' services where possible to help support them, so that then they can support their training better. And then the other one, essentially it's out of your control, which is your genetics. So there's nothing you can do about that one, so just don't worry about that. So back to my knee. Super exciting story. I don't know how it's going to be squatting tomorrow. It's not too bad to use it. It's sore to touch. So sleep, improving sleep. So I've tried all sorts of stuff over the years. Big one for me, APAP machine, because I have sleep apnea. obstructive sleep apnea. So that's like fantastic. Next one is my partner and I, separate duvets. Done that for the longest time. Next one is I noticed, so for various reasons, to do with work and other stuff, that's none of your business, we'd end up sleeping in different places. The night where I slept in beds by myself, I slept better, like objectively better and subjectively better. So now we've got things set up, we're sleeping in separate beds again, and it's so much better for sleep. But, so we have a cat. This all will make sense. So across the door, I don't want the cat coming in the door, but the room that I'm in, I just picked a small room because I just need a bed in there. I don't need anything else in there. It's a small room, and I don't want the room to end up just like smelling from just like sweating of sleeping and everything else. But also, it's cold this time of year, so I don't want to leave the window open. So I leave that door open, but I got a frame across the door so the cat can't wander in the night. I'd kind of forgotten about that. Got up and just walked into it and hit my knee. But you know, like when you kick something and it just catches your toe and it's like disproportionately painful. So my knee's like that and it's swollen just under my kneecap. I just caught the edge of it. So then just then when I was kneeling on it, it's very tender. Tender's the right word. So pain is a feeling, tender is a symptom, because it only, tender means it hurts when when it's touched. That was my point. I think that was it. So for sleep, big difference. Sleep smiles better. I think I might drop caffeine out at some point soon, so that then I can reintroduce it when I'm peaking again. At the minute, it's a bit of a habit. It's a bit of a routine that I've gotten into now. I would like it if the drinks that I liked just didn't have caffeine in them, because I don't find myself like reaching for this is another thing as well, because someone will comment, the monsters that I have don't make any difference to my stomach. I tried not having them, no difference. Tried having them, no difference. Tried having more, no difference. The only difference I've noticed is if I have 4 monsters in a day, then I have a dodgy stomach. But I mean, that's like 600 milligrams of caffeine, so that's not a surprise, is it? Anyway, so gotten into the habit of having 1 monster a day on a morning. I like the taste of it, and there's like 60 grams of carbs in the drink, so it's easy. Maybe easy's not the best choice. Anyway. That one was good. I started the rest timer last side, but I didn't think about the fact that I've got my phone on silent, so I didn't actually hear it, even though it sat right in front of me. So yeah, sleep is actually better. Nutrition is fine. Health, I guess, is the one that's off, with stomach not being great, and knee and elbows falling apart, aren't they? Always happens this time of year when it's cold. That's why I want to spend more time abroad, but there's too much other stuff going on here at the minute that I can't. Although we are looking at going somewhere, I probably will go somewhere just after my competition, so that I can just have like a complete break. I'm torn between, so we can't go for more than like 4 or 5 days for reasons, and I'm torn between like go somewhere fancy and nice, or just like go super cheap, because it's only for like 4 or 5 days, so we don't need anything fancy. But then the other thing is, I want to travel far enough that it's actually hot, but I don't want to, if we're going, say we were only going for 5 days, I don't want to spend 6 hours on a flight to be somewhere for 5 days, plus the couple of hours at the airport, plus the travel to the airport. By the time you do all of that, you've lost 2 days. But then you have to balance that with the time of year and how far you'd have to go to actually get to somewhere warm. So that's worth thinking about. I was thinking of just going back to Mexico for a month or two. But given that we just moved, I didn't want to just be like, right, see you, Rich. You look after the house. I'll be back soon. Although she'd be happy with me going, I didn't think it would be a reasonable thing to do, given we've just moved and there's issues and stuff with the house that need dealing with. And now that there's the competitions, I think I like having more of a structure anyway. But then sort of like April, May, June time, could probably go like to places in Europe, to be fair. They're fairly close for the odd 4 or 5 days a week here and there. And then the actual summer here is pretty nice, to be fair, I think, like for the month that we have it. And then next year, not next year, like the back end of the year, time has gone off again. When I train at the bodybuilding gym by myself, I get through the sessions so fast because I'm not talking to anyone. Even though I'm not talking to anyone now, but I'm talking to you watching this, which is me in the future. Right, that's it. That was good. That was more like it. So, anyway, back end of the year. So what I might do is I will work and compete now until the end of March. Then April, May, maybe June, a bit of travelling. I'll almost always, after a competition, I would go into like hypertrophy block and a bit of fat loss, just like tidy things up. So I'll probably do that. Also, coincides nicely with spending some time travelling and abroad, because it means I don't have to buy as much food, and I also don't have to find the food to buy. So what I normally default to when we're travelling for food is very simple. So the first thing I would have, so it depends exactly on where we're staying and stuff. Usually I would either get or take some kind of protein powder, usually a vegan one, just because it's lactose free. So usually what I would do is, first thing I would eat would be that and some fruit. Or if I've not got the protein with me, I just wouldn't eat anything. Then the first proper meal of the day. Most places, at least around Europe and most other places I've been, you can get a chicken for like a couple of quid cooked, or you can go to restaurants and get a chicken and rice or a chicken and salad for like 2, 3, 4, 5 quid. So I would have that for lunch, like the full chicken, and that's going to hit like 150, 160 grams of protein. That's most of my protein for the day. Might not eat all of it at once, might take some of it away with me. And then on the evening, probably go out for food, get whatever I want. All of that in total is not going to get to 4,000 calories-ish, which I maintain on. So I end up just being in a deficit. You end up walking more because you're exploring and stuff. So that's the approach I would take, which is what makes it easier to do fat loss, I think, when traveling. It's just like that super simple template. I don't mind just eating the same things again and again. So that works well for me. And then Rachel tends to do the same thing. But what she would do is she'd get like a wrap or something instead of the full chicken, because obviously she's a lot smaller than me, so she doesn't need to eat the same amount. And so that works out nicely for us. In some circumstances, we might share the chicken. Like she might have some of the chicken breast or whatever, and I have the rest of it. Sometimes we get different meats and stuff, but like, so that's not conducive to the best environment for training for strength. It's great for fat loss and just maintaining muscle. And then for training, when we go abroad, what I tend to do is have an upper-lower type split. Stomach growling. Again, depends on how long we're there for, what we're doing and stuff. The way I would usually do it is, I would start off the week, like I need to train lower body and pulling. I wouldn't rush to do the pulling, but lower body especially. If there's a gym, I would train legs in a gym, because you can train your legs with body weight, but it's not particularly convenient when you're strong. Whereas training your upper body, even when you're strong, is fairly easy without any equipment. So the first thing is, I'd be like, right, have I trained my lower body in the last week or so? If no, that's what I would do in a gym. If yes, then obviously I'd go to the gym and train my upper body. That's it. I'd probably just alternate. It would be unlikely if we were... The only time we would train like a lot if we were abroad is if we were at a hotel that had a gym there, and we were going to be at the place for like 2, 3, 4 weeks. So then it was more of like a regular routine. But like going somewhere for 3 or 4, 5 days, I might train once. So I'd try and train lower body. And then for upper body, there's almost always something you can hang off. So like, just do it for a workout, just do 100 pull-ups and 200 press-ups, or like 50 handstand press-ups or whatever. Like, dead simple, enough just to stimulate the muscle. Obviously that's not enough to like be growing substantially, and it's definitely not enough for me to be getting significantly stronger, but it's enough for me to train whilst travelling. So that's the way I would approach that. I don't know if I'd bother filming. No, I don't know. Probably not. That again depends. So I was looking at some flights the other day. It's like 20 quid each or something. Like, this is super cheap. Let's just go this weekend. We'll go away for a couple of days. And then that was with no hand luggage. So not even a bag to go in with you. Like, okay, fine, add that on. I made the tickets like 220 quid each. It's like, right, it's not worth it for a couple of days then, is it? It's bizarre. Anyway, you might notice with these that I'm just trying to get as deep as I can. I'm also not doing them heavy. I'm literally just doing them as a bit of a stretch. I also aren't counting the reps. I think I'm doing about 10 reps. I think that's 5. So that will make that 6. And I'm doing them seated because I don't want to risk hitting that when my shoulder's in that position. I don't think it's a particularly bad position unless you're not trained in it, in which case any position could be a bad position. That's it. That's all for today. Tomorrow's agenda. Nope, that's only 20 kilos. Cheating myself there. Tomorrow's agenda is squats and deadlifts and rows and I think pull downs. How hard would this work out? 5. None of it was difficult at all. So today I have done 197 reps, 5,875 kilos of volume. I hit a new 6 rep max bench, apparently, of 115. Training metrics. My session was 80% in the hypertrophy rep range, and it was 15%. I can't read. It was 18% strength, 2% power. The power will just be the single. The bench, there was 2,875 kilos of volume on the bench, just under 2,000 on the Spoto press. My estimated max on the bench today, based on today's performance, 150 kilos. I think that's fair. I think I could bench 150 if I had to max out today. I don't, but that's it. And then I think on Sunday, 2 days' time, I think I'm benching 140. So that'll be a good indicator. Now I'm going to go in, have my chicken, like a proper bodybuilder, maybe make a stir fry. So that's like a cooking thing. Just add like honey to everything. Yeah, that's sore on the knee. Yeah, just add honey to everything you eat for easy, free carbs. Cereal stuff as well. I haven't noticed any difference from stopping having cereal or having more of it. I'm still thinking that the issue is because my body's just been stupid. Right, turn that off. Take this home as if I'm going far. I know what else I'm forgetting. So this is the key to the garage. It's on an electric fob, that's cool. I don't know where to get a second one though. Take my bottle in, turn this thing off. You there, this thing. Right, I will see you maybe tomorrow, who knows. Take care.